What's up, everybody? My name is Nick, joined again by my co-host Matt. Different area, same Matt. Unfortunately, he hasn't changed.
Not at all.
Episode 22 For Better or Worse. We are back. It's nice Monday morning, and we're getting started. We got some NHL to talk about, MLB, and then we're going to do some MLB playoff predictions / World Series predictions. So it should be fun overall. Matt, how was your trip?
Well, extended the trip for the next couple days. It's beautiful up here. It's beautiful, dude. You can't see it. I tried doing my setup outside because you can see the mountains.
If everybody doesn't know, Matt doesn't actually have a job. He acts like he does. I've never seen the man work in his entire life. So just put it out there.
The mountains are beautiful. There's a lake right out here. There's some good hiking trails. I met Dwayne Johnson yesterday, which is pretty cool. No, but seriously, it's gorgeous up here. It's nice to, take a break from work that I do. That, I just don't post that I'm there because who posts that they're at work? It's just boring. But it's a nice trip. So I'll be here for a couple more days and then back to the grind. And I got a lot of good stuff coming out content-wise. I got to reflect on those hikes, Nick. It was a nice meditation and reflection. So we're good. And we're going to be back in good old Dirty Jersey in no time. So it should be good. But did you watch that Stanley Cup Game 6 last night?
I did not.
I'm very upset that hockey's over.
Just gone.
So sad. I mean, good for the Avs. Well, if you didn't watch it, the Avalanche won 2-1. Tough game. Honestly, I feel a little bad for Lightning fans. Not that it would ever matter, but they did miss an icing call at the end, which would have got a face-off on the offensive zone. So some other little things that definitely could have went the Lightning's way. Not saying they would have ended up tying the game, but some things that you could have said, give them a little helping hand there that they didn't. But either way, they probably weren't coming back from 3-1 anyway. Darcy Kemper was outstanding. People would forget how good Darcy Kemper is because he has one bad game a series basically, but held the Lightning to 1 goal, had some fantastic saves. He's a free agent. Devils should be, calling his phone, giving him any number he wants. But, the Avs are going to try to make a dynasty. Unfortunately, they have a lot of guys who are free agents this year. It'll be interesting to see who they decide to keep or who they can afford to keep that, the core around and the good helping pieces. But it should be fun. I'm already excited for next year. I ended the season plus 138 units on the NHL season, which was the best yet. I'm not going to say expect that every time, but last year was a lot harder because of COVID bubbles. There's only the same 6 teams face each other, so it's nice to have a normal season. Hopefully, we don't do that again. But I'm crying over here.
Yeah, it's a shame that no one knew you for most of that season, but
exactly. But to each their own. We did take advantage of a lot of sportsbook stuff. I do think that the sports books don't really focus on hockey too much because there's not a lot of money being poured in, especially during basketball season and other parts of other seasons, where I think you could actually take a heavy advantage of some lines and some books. So we're looking to do the same next year. So stick around. We'll be doing this, knock on wood. So we'll get it nice and early next year. But enough about hockey. That's over. We got baseball.
A winner. And
you've been heating up over the weekend, everyone do a little self clap for Nick. Say some nice stuff in the comments for Nick. He's been carrying the team this weekend. His back's hurting, but nice weekend. Go. How was your weekend? How was your how are your picks? We can go through it and recap.
Yeah, 11-3. Get some plus money, but everything's usually around even odds as per usual. I'm upset with the Blue Jays and the Giants. Was it the Giants? I don't know what I lost the first day. But it's okay. It's okay. Don't let the losses haunt you.
You can afford them. You can afford a couple right now.
Yeah, a couple. But yeah, I mean the Blue Jays complete. I don't know why I'm upset with the Giants, but yeah, yesterday the disappointing play was the Blue Jays team total of over 5 and they scored 3 in the first inning and then didn't score anything else. So that
Wow.
was disappointing. Yeah.
That's brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's terrible. Well, what do you got for us today? What's on the menu today?
Well, there's one game that sticks out overall. It's the Rangers versus the Royals. It's Perez versus Bubik. Am I saying that right? Bubik?
I think so.
Bubik?
He's too bad
Can't
for me to
remember.
even care what his name is, honestly.
Well, that's when you should care. And there's 3 different ways I'm looking at playing this. Number one, the money. It's just scary. Because I don't understand why the numbers are this close. So it's making me think, what am I missing overall?
Yeah.
But that being said, Rangers first 5 minus 0.5 at minus 105. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Do you understand that one? Bubik's home ERA is 7.78, and he's 0-3. Going up against Perez, who is allowed either 0 or 1 earned run in 10 out of 12 of his last starts. He's had a 2 blow-up games, but everything else, he's still under a 2 ERA, still a stud. And last time I checked, the Royals aren't doing great offensively. So that was the best price because money line's at minus 138. So I feel the, with Bubik on the mounds, they'll get a couple runs and Perez will do his own. Yeah. I feel like that's the best price. 2 other things I was looking at, and I'm back and forth on this. I'm not trying to double dip or triple dip. I'm definitely going to double dip though. So Royals team total under 3.5 at minus 102. They're 8-4 in their last 12 for that number. And again, we just talked about Perez. He's an absolute stud for the Rangers this year. I mean, he's not a fancy strikeout guy, but he goes deep into games as well. You'll get 6, 7, 8 innings, depending on, the situation, but he does keep a short pitch count with batters. Sorry, my cat's going. And then the other way I was looking at this is going Rangers team total. That being said, Bubik isn't that he's got a bad ERA, but he hasn't had these 5, 6 inning, 6-run games in a little bit. He's still be giving up 2 to 3, in the last couple games. That being said, I'd rather go and do the full game sweat with the Royals team total under 3.5 at minus 102. Just a bad offense. It's a really bad offense going up against Perez, who's been good this year. The weather, as far as that's concerned, I use Ballpark Pal because they just throw a crap load of stats at you. Implied run total advantage minus 4%. So that's nice as well. But yeah,
yeah, it's interesting to see the disrespect for the Rangers on angles from the books today, because even the money line at minus 135 is, to me, a good parlay piece, a good bet in general, because the Royals are 26-45. They're the bottom of the AL Central. That's absolutely horrible. They're 13-23 at home, and the Rangers are 34-37. They're 3 games below 500. They're not going to beat the Astros out for the division, but they're technically still alive for some sort of wild card. Not really a lock it per se, because the AL East is very good, but they're not down for the count either. And they're trying to prove themselves. They got some good pieces in the offseason, and they're not a bad ball club. And for them to be this disrespected with their best pitcher on the mound right now.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I definitely like that angle. I definitely like everything Rangers. I don't think you could bet the Royals at that price either. If there is one side, it's got to be the Rangers.
Gotta be.
So I'm right there with you.
Yeah. I
I'm right there with you.
I thought they'd be heavy favorites, 180 minus 180, or
Yeah, at least
something
minus
like that.
160. At least like
Yeah.
almost money line unbettable.
Yeah, the money line now is playable, and like you said, good parlay piece if you want to find something super safe that's like minus 200, minus 300 to get that right above the plus money for like nice little
Yeah.
bankroll builder kind of play. I don't hate that at all. I just think that I'm gonna find a little bit better value in lines in the first five and the under team total. For
100%.
the
No, I
so
think you're spot on. And I think,
yeah,
if that first five hits and the Royals team total under hits, then there's no way there's a small chance that it doesn't hit, but all three should hit. They all kind of correlate with each other. So
yeah,
I'm right there with you.
yep.
Everything Rangers today. I am
Basic.
gonna give you back some total bases. Um, the Red Sox at the Blue Jays, me and Nick were talking about before. Um, I think the Red Sox can sneak this one out. I know Gossman's on the mound, and this guy Seabold, I think, is on the mound for the Sox. He's really not that good, but he wasn't terrible in his first start. He's only going to pitch a couple innings probably. But the Red Sox have been absolutely on fire. They've been playing really well, and Bogarts and Martinez should have themselves a day. And Devers lefty righty matchup should start to hit Gossman the more he sees him. Maybe this is his breakout game. Who knows? But Bogarts over 1/2 bases is plus 135. He's hit his total bases in 5 straight games versus Kevin Gossman, dating back to like 2018. He bats 348 career versus Gossman with 48 plate appearances, which is a heavy sample size. A lot of times you see people say, "Oh, he bats 400 versus guy," but there's like 8 at bats or like 10 at bats. 48 plate appearances is a lot. And in both
Yeah,
games he faced Gossman already this season, he went 2 for 3 both times. So he's clearly seeing the ball well from him. I'm gonna have to go in Toronto and hit him again. But Bogarts is a great hitter, always top 10-ish in AL MVP votes the last couple of years. I think he hits the spot on, and I kind of do want to play the Red Sox, but I actually won't make that official ever just because of the scenario. But the price is pretty good with the Red Sox, and they faced Gossman twice already. So, it's tough to keep beating a team. And once you start to see the pitches, I'm not going to make that an official play, but I really like that price. I'm going to stick to the Bogart bases because I think if the Red Sox win, Bogarts is going to have himself a day. So I'd rather be safer and go Bogarts over 1/2 bases at plus 135.
yeah. So I'll make a case for it real quick because I agree with you on the Red Sox. Just kind of talk it out real quick. What's his name? Seabold. He's 14th rated prospect for them. Did have a good appearance last year, but he's crushing it in the minor leagues. Red Sox have won 7 in a row. The Blue Jays have gone 3-7 in the last 10.
Yeah.
So 2 teams going in opposite directions at this point. My question: no Duran, he can't play because of vaccination status in Toronto.
Yeah.
And Tanner,
How?
there we go. Yeah, the righty. Can't play either. But there's no way I can look at this. I thought about the over personally.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best play overall. I'm still mad at the Blue Jays for yesterday, but going up against so there's pros and cons. Good prospect. Obviously, he could get easily rocked. He could also, the Blue Jays aren't used to his stuff. No one's really used to his stuff. So he could get by them for a couple innings, depending on how long they keep him out. And, I mean, these two offenses are really swinging the bat well, other than yesterday. And the over has gone over a bunch for the Blue Jays recently. So I would say that would be, if you had to pick a play as far as, didn't have player props or anything like that, I would lean over. I kind of want to
Yeah.
say Red Sox money line, but I think the over is the safest play out
I
of.
mean, the praise is just so good. Like even Devers, ISO wise and analytics wise, Devers and JD Martinez are probably the top two guys to target. And then Bogart's just a familiar bat. That heart of the lineup is going to be tough for Gossman to get through. I know he's pitched twice against them and had two decent outings, but it's the more you play someone, the harder it is to pitch against them.
Yeah.
Just the nature of the beast. So we'll be keeping an eye out on it. The game doesn't start till 7 o'clock. We got some time.
Plenty of time. Plenty of time.
My other play is I think if he doesn't get this, it's only because he's going to get intentionally walked again. It's Mike Trout over 1.5 bases at -115. He bats 355 at home. Giolito gets absolutely crushed by righties. A .358 ISO versus righties, which has to be one of the top in the league. Like,
why don't you tell me what just for the average viewer, what's like a league average ISO?
I wouldn't even be able to tell you. A bad ISO is in the 200s for a pitcher. Like a bad
this
ISO.
guy, bad ISO 200s, and this is 358.
Let me see. 0.358 to righties.
Yeah.
So he's really good versus lefties. He's got a .082 ISO, which is really good. But
Someone say yikes.
No, it's terrible. I mean, even I'm looking at his last couple starts, and he gets blown up. He gave up 7 runs to the Blue Jays last game, 5 innings, gave 8 runs the game before to the Astros. I know those are 2 top offenses, but then 4 runs to the Rangers, 2 runs off 8 hits to the Rays, 6 runs again to the Blue Jays. He's just not been good. And a lot of that has to do with his struggle versus righties. And Mike Trout's one of the worst righties you'll ever want to face in your life. And the line's -115. Mike Trout, again, Giolito throws basically a slider and a changeup a lot to righties. And Mike Trout's got a .489 ISO, which is ridiculous to sliders, and a .769 with only 7 batted ball attempts or batted ball events to changeups. And everything this guy throws at him, he's going to hit over the fence. There's also, according to Ballpark Pal, he's got a big home run boost today for that game as well. That's why Mike Trout home run is only +235. I would never bet a home run that low odds, but over bases at -115, you just can't avoid that. And if he goes yard, you cash pretty easily.
Yeah.
He got intentionally walked twice last game. He's going to want to swing that bat. He really is. He's just going to not want to stand there again. And, this Angels team hopefully will have to pitch to him today. I mean, the White Sox team.
Yeah, if Ohtani could actually, well, he isn't bad, but he's hitting like 259 right now. He got walked twice. If he was hitting a little better overall, I think they'd be less inclined to walk Trout.
Well, my only worry is that, Ohtani is the guy on deck, but if you're looking to pitch, if you pitch well versus lefties, you still don't want to face that guy. And he's 5 for 17 with 2 home runs versus Giolito in his career too. So Giolito's not going to want to face him either. So you're going to have to pitch to him. And maybe, Ward gets on base as well. You don't want to get 2 guys on for Ohtani. That's just not good news.
Yeah. Ward is my guy. I love him. I wish he didn't get hurt earlier. I think he's super sleeper.
He's fantastic.
Super sleeper MVP. Super sleeper.
He gets on base a lot, I will say. Well, speaking of those sleepers and those deep MVPs, we'll talk about our predictions for the playoffs. First of all, what are your thoughts on the Astros-Yankees series? That was basically like a playoff series. Do you want to talk about that at all?
No, I don't want to give the Yankees any attention. They don't deserve it.
I'm just going to say, I think if the Astros get 1 bullpen arm, they're screwed. They had 2 come from behind wins, which sounds magical and is great, yes, but you can't rely on that come playoffs. You just can't.
You just got no hit and then no hit into the 7th, but
yeah, you almost got no hit twice in the same series.
Yeah, it's just unheard of. Yeah, if Stanton was the only person to hit that, he hit the home run and that was it for the rest of the game, we'd be having a whole different discussion right now. But
Yeah, you're right. And LeMahieu had hit the home run in the 8th to even get them close to Judge getting up in the 9th or 10th, whatever it was.
Yeah. I think all this doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's all about who gets hot towards the end of the season. You could be shit right now as long as you're somewhat in contention as long as you make the playoffs. It's all about when you get hot. You know, your bats get hot, your pitching, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That being said, I like the Blue Jays in the ALCS.
So yeah, what is your ALCS matchup? What is who do you think faces
Blue Jays
each other?
versus the Astros. Couple reasons. Number one, piss off Yankees fans. I hate you. Don't worry about it. Number two, Blue Jays got a bunch of power in their lineup. It's just an awesome lineup overall. As far as pitching, that's the real concern. Gosman's been okay. Berrios awful, especially on the road. We saw that yesterday. They've just been outscoring teams. Really, that's been like their main thing. They just dropped 2 versus the Brewers. They're 3-7 in the last 10. If they can get it together, get some solid pitching together, I think that they're
Manoah's a stud. Manoah's one of my favorite pitchers in the league. Him and Gossman are good, but you need a third guy. And Berrios and Kikuchi have not really been doing it this year. You're not going to win a series with 2 guys, or World Series at least. It's just not going to happen. So you definitely need that third guy. Maybe they get one at the deadline. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. And then I have the Astros, obviously great team overall. They have good pitching. You saw that this weekend. They just need to add an arm, which I think you could do. There's still plenty of time left in the season to, make some moves and shore up your roster. And again, I hate you Yankees fans. So yeah.
True.
Great.
Me too. I think it's the one thing me and Nick agree on.
Yeah, they have a good team, but who doesn't love the misery of others, especially delusional fans?
Yeah, I honestly think their lineup is. I don't know. Maybe I'm not biased, and I don't think their pitching is good. Like Nasty Nestor, he's been great, but it's gonna decline.
It's all about they looked hot. Some of those pieces for me have started to drop down, like Nasty Nestor. Not saying he's bad by any means. Just not as hot as he was at the beginning. I was pretty confident towards the beginning of the year. Now it's kind of just sloping down. But this all doesn't matter until the end of the year. Like we said, you just got to make the playoffs and then
get hot.
Take it one series at a time. Just win one game at a time. As far as the NLCS, I have the Braves and I have the Mets.
Oh,
I wrote Dodgers on there on purpose.
Let's go.
Yeah, and the Mets is with the asterisks, pending pitching. You got to get Max Scherzer, DeGrom,
I agree.
Is McGill back?
McGill? No, but he's on 10-day. He'll be around.
Yeah, all 3 of those guys back, then you're definitely in there. And then if those guys aren't pitching or not pitching well or not, it's the Dodgers. I think they're a very complete team overall, but they haven't looked very. Again, we're going off right now. They can easily put together in a couple of series and start to get back to their winning ways with their huge favorites and everything like that. But they're just, they had a good game last night, but
their pitching, I don't think is that good anymore. Gonsolin's having an amazing year. Bueller's good. Bueller's a great playoff pitcher, but I don't know if Gonsolin can repeat that in the playoffs. And I think Kershaw may be kind of, getting too old here.
Well, they have weird pitching. So you said what Goslin, but so Tyler Anderson's 8-0, three even ERA,
Well,
0.97 WHIP.
well, he's 8-0 because he's on the Dodgers, but his ERA is not
Yeah,
bad. His ERA is like Noah Syndergaard has in the threes ERA. So it's like
Oh, he said 3.95. Okay, so
either way, I'm saying in the threes doesn't deserve 8-0. He's 8-0 he's on the Dodgers.
my dude has 3.00. He could easily have 2.99.
He could easily have 3.01.
3.00 to 3.95. Don't start me.
Are they in the threes? Are they in the
prediction.
threes? Was I lying?
World Series for me. Astros Braves.
Okay.
It's a question mark. Except I'd say Blue Jays if they had pitching, but it's just like how many question marks. I don't even like that pick. It's just more not picking the Yankees.
So I have similar tastes in the ALCS. I also think it's going to be Astros, Blue Jays. My reasoning for the Astros is just, they have the experience. They lost Correa, but Kyle Tucker's only 25 years old. He's really grown into his own. You have two strong lefties in the batter's box in Jordan and Kyle Tucker, and you have some awesome righties in Altuve and Bregman. So it's going to be, and even Brantley, it's going to be tough to find a pitcher who can dominate when you have good hitters on both sides of the ball like that. And they have Verlander, Valdez has been good. Other pitchers have been good as well. I think they do need a bullpen arm, which they got a chance to see now versus the Yankees series, which is good. I think at the deadline, they'll get somebody else. But as far as the LCS, I think you're right. It's Astros, Blue Jays. I do think the Blue Jays have the better pitching and the deeper lineup, and they could do more things small ball wise with some speedier guys than the Yankees sort of can, which I kind of like come baseball season because it's, every at bat matters, a lot of more sacrifices and stuff like that. So I'm going to say Astros, Blue Jays as well. And then for the NLCS, I have Mets, Dodgers. No bias aside, this Mets team has the league leading team batting average. They're batting 260 as a team, which leads the whole MLB. Yes, their pitchers need to come back for them to most likely do damage in the playoffs. But if you have a healthy DeGrom and a healthy Scherzer, it's going to be tough to squeak out wins against that team when they could finally hit now. Because the question in the past was, they can't hit and they have to rely on DeGrom. Well, now you see DeGrom and Scherzer games 1 and 2. Maybe you squeeze out one, but they're still going to be back for 5 and 6 or 6 and 7. And this team is, the acquisitions they got in the offseason with, Marte, Escobar, Kana. There's so many that they got to prepare for this. And I don't think Steve Cohen's done. I think at the deadline, they're going to get some more lefty relievers, and maybe someone else is on the, the trade block that's pretty cheap that Cohen can say, hey, let's get this done. He's one of the richest men in the world, basically. Dude is a guy who bailed out Robin Hood with the whole GameStop stuff. He said he's a lifelong Mets fan. He wants to win. So he's not going to try to be cheap and win money. He's going to try to win the World Series, which is what the Mets need to do, and they've showed it so far. So I definitely think the Mets will put themselves in the best position to get there. Again, the Dodgers team is going to probably be who they face in the NLCS. The only reason why I don't say the Braves is because they won last year, and Soler was a huge part of that team, in my opinion, at least emotionally wise, and he's gone. They still have obviously a nasty lineup and nasty pitchers, but it's so hard for me to see a team go back there again. And obviously no Freeman, even though they replaced him with Olsen, who's just like a little B version of Freeman anyway. But it is what it is. They're still a nasty team. They could definitely go there, but I think my prediction is going to be Mets, Dodgers. And the Dodgers, as we said before, they're the team to beat. They're like the Lightning in the NHL. They've been around the block. They've been there basically every year. So that's what I see is going to happen. My fandom wants me to say Mets, Astros in the World Series, but I do think it's going to be Dodgers, Astros. I just think something's going to happen to somebody on the Mets and the Dodgers. The Mets may not be there just yet. And then next year is when the Mets take the next step with the experience that they just had, kind of a deal. That's kind of why I see it. I wouldn't be shocked either if the Mets made the World Series and won it, but this is what I would say is my prediction.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the Mets are concerned, they're hitting lefties a lot better this year, I feel like.
Yeah.
And they're actually scoring runs.
Justin Fordo's gone.
Yeah. I mean, you're hitting 246 versus lefties, and 264 versus righties. Still obviously a difference there, but it's never going to be the same. That and you're scoring runs. Last year was an embarrassment.
I could say that for every year.
It was embarrassing, dude. You have DeGrom on the mound and you couldn't score runs. It was embarrassing. I watched every game.
He'd be like 3-9 with like a 1.6, 1.06.
You know what I miss? Rant time. You know what I miss? Pitchers hitting.
Yeah, DeGrom was great.
Yeah, DeGrom was great. And it helped out strikeout props, which I don't do anymore.
Yeah.
So much. So much. I feel like the lines are the same, but you don't get that free strikeout at the end of the lineup.
Yeah. No, you're right. And you could also bet a pitcher's bases, which is electric. You like DeGrom over 0.5 bases, like plus 500, because he's only going to bat like twice.
I put $1,000 on last year when I was small account. This is before DeGrom got crazy. First, it was no run first inning, no run second inning, and then Mets first 5. And that's when DeGrom literally had like raked in like 2 runs, 3 runs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I won like $5,600. It was amazing.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. Our predictions. Let us know your predictions in the comments, please.
So 2 assignments. Obviously praise me. Second assignment, predictions in the comments. That's 2 things. Yeah.
Praise Nick and then say your predictions in the comments. That's the homework till Wednesday.
The homework. You guys got it. Thank you again for joining us. We'll be back on Wednesday per usual. Best of luck with your bets, Matt. Enjoy not working per usual. That's nothing different for you. Have a great night, and we'll see you Wednesday.
It's raining all day today, so I can't really enjoy it. But
all right,
whatever.
See you Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.